personnel you have in place, will the team be more athletic, or do you still want to play half court, slow it down, minimize possessions?
It's funny. That's, we try to run. I mean, I know it's crazy. The guys have to try to run and things like that. We're trying to be better in transition. We want to have like a high, offensive efficiency in transition. Good offense is like 1 point per possession. In transition, you got to get to 1-4, 1-5. Like, you got to score. And I think off our defense is only playing 30 seconds instead of 35, and how good we can be. That's our big push. It's like trying to get good opportunities, cross the floor, pitch ahead, and attack when the defense is not set. So I think, it's going to be interesting how people play with a 30-second clock. Do you go soft press back at a 2-3? I mean, just to beat up some clock and things like that. So we actually put in some zone already too. It's probably the earliest we put in the zone. Because we might have to play 2 small guards up top, especially with the hand checking and things like that. So it's going to be different.
You mentioned the floor with the ice underneath. Footwork was that good?
Oh no, the floor in itself was fine. I think it was just the black, whatever they used when they got off the floor. I think they had the door open for humidity or something. I mean, it was a little bit warm yesterday or something like that. But nothing. The floor was perfect. There was no seepage on the floor. It's just off the floor a little bit.
You guys aren't noticing it's slicker?
No, not on the wood. It was just like, if you're off, like you're running after a ball or something afterwards or something. It wasn't nothing you have to be worried about.
You mentioned the shooting in an unfamiliar place. Is that the biggest concern when you go from practicing in Jersey to this big open area, just the depth perception?
A little bit, yeah, a little bit. That's where we got up there. I thought it was a great thing to do yesterday. Spent some time, drove up and just let those guys shoot for a while, and then we got warmed up and we had a little referees clinic that kind of went over all the new rule changes, and then we had a scrimmage. So, I thought, our shooting, obviously it was a little bit down because we chart everything. We have a SWAT team of managers, we're doing everything. And the first 9 practices, I think we're shooting 5-on-5 drills are 39% from 3 in our 5-on-5 drills. Now, if we can continue that, that'd be great, because I think 34% was NCAA average, 36 was NCAA entry into the field. So, I mean, if we got to get it up, we're at 30% last year. And, the more familiar you are with the arena, the better. And we'll get up there a couple of times. We'll go up there next week on the 24th and have an exhibition game too. So that's our big emphasis. We'll go back in the gym. We've been shooting in the mornings with 2 groups at 6:30 and 7, and then come back to practice. So we're emphasizing shooting.
When you have a good nucleus like you have coming back, how disappointed were those guys in the way last year ended? How much that motivated them for this year?
Yeah, I think it was like a whole learning kind. You lose your rock. KJ left early. People are trying to find themselves. Things didn't go well. We have to fight through adversity a little bit better. I think we're making shots and things like that. Everyone's down. But then, when you get down, we got to fight through some things. And we talked about that and kind of see some more urgency from those guys this year. It's exciting to see, because this is the first time in I think 6 years we've been here. We have a returning scorer back, so we don't have to reinvent the wheel some, and then we got some extra different options at the point guard, some extra shooting up there too. So it'll be interesting. Now you're going to miss some things too from last year. Rod shut down defender. Shut down Cooney for the whole game, chasing around. We got to find someone who can do that, on the perimeter.
And then the depth. You feel much better about the depth this year overall?
Yeah, I think the rotation. I think those guys, as players, you just want to give your coaches confidence. I think we have confidence in all those guys. Legend now is behind probably a couple other guys just because of physical and just up to speed, but he'll provide some things for us. And then up front, obviously with Ty Hudson, he's kind of like a combo guard. He had 11 points first time as a scrimmage. That was good. He made some shots. Competitor. He's probably the guy who's taken or attempted the most charges in practice. So he's been good. He's been good, and just you know, it's just going to be process of who can fit in what spots.
Having a few international guys on the team, do they bring any different perspective to the roster?
Yeah, they usually those guys are always really appreciative of what they're given. Sometimes they have a good perspective of guys. Maybe you expect things, you know, or getting recruited to that level, or AAU guys, and you know everything like high school coaches and all that. They haven't been through that, and they, you know, they have to leave their families. I mean, I always think that's amazing. They can leave their families, learn a new culture, and come in here, and you know, just break away and just try to do something like that because of an opportunity. And, we're blessed to have that opportunity every day, and I think they give that sometimes to our other coaches.
When you were talking about the rule changes a few minutes ago, the restricted line's been moved out. You know, there's no longer the 5-second call on dribble. What do you think is going to have? Which one of those will have the biggest impact on the game? Or maybe even on Clemson?
Yeah, I think it's a different one. It's like I think coaches can't call timeouts
During live ball.
to a live ball.
Right.
So someone on the court has to have an internal clock by the inbounder against a press or something like that to call timeout. And the guy have to be very cognizant of the fact how many timeouts you have and things like that. I mean, now post play, hand checking, that's going to be definitely the emphasis right now. Freedom of movement, that's a big term, and you know, I think those are the ones that are going to be the biggest factors. I mean, there's just going to be a lot of fouls called, especially early. I mean, that's how it is. I mean, and you got to be smart enough, and we have some different packages where we have some driving offenses to take advantage of that, get to the bonus. I mean, they're going to be calling us, so might as well. And I think that's where you're going to see some zone too, early in the season.
That being said, Landry Noko had a little bit of issues last season getting in foul trouble early. You think he's going to see some improvement in that area this year?
Yeah, he better. Yeah, we've been working on it. Yeah, we've been doing all kinds of drills and trying to get him to be move when the ball moves and use airtime to get in the right position. I think that's the biggest thing. I think too many guys wait for the ball to be close and then they try to get around the guy. It's hard. Playing against big cats in there. 6'10", 270 guys, you got to be smart about it and be the hammer, not the nail. And I think he's trying to do that. You know, we can play a little bit of zone, but that's not what we kind of do. But we'll do some things. I think it'll help a little bit. In the post, it used to be when your back's to the basket, when the guy catches the ball, you got to disengage. You can still have an arm bar the whole time, protect yourself when the guy's back to the basket. So I think hopefully that'll help a little bit. But the best defense, like I said, don't let the ball get in there. So, and then he just has to be, you know, get to the right spot on help and things like that. He's a little bit